for business for Ugandan products. Now, Uganda has a track record of pro-business and market-enabling policies which have helped to spur growth rates averaging 6 to 7% since the 1990s. With its increasingly competitive private sector, Uganda has leveraged inter-regional trade to its advantage. Uganda's natural topography as well, favorable climate and water resources, I mean, we're called the Pearl of Africa for so many reasons, and low labor costs give it strong comparative advantages in agriculture production. Uganda also exports a more diversified basket of products that range than that of many other low-income countries, because we're referred to as one of those. But even if we hit the mark and we've crossed borders and we're doing the trading, we still want to be on top of our game. And that's why today we have Dr. James Kanije. He works with KK Foods, as well as Mr. Nicholas Atkwasa, production manager, KK Foods, to expound more on how do we make sure that Ugandan products are appreciated. The quality is amazing. Everyone is struggling and scrambling and petitioning South African history for our products. A very good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, please introduce yourselves to the viewers.
Dr. James Kanije is my name, CEO for a company called KK Foods, the producers and exporters of fruits and vegetables out of Uganda into the world. I mean the European Union, England, and the rest of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning, Uganda. My name is Nicholas Atkwase, in charge of production and projects at KK Foods.
Mr. Kanije, you talked about how you produce and sell to European Union, big countries. How did you get to that?
You know, somehow that question is hard to understand. But the way 20 years ago, 21 years ago, somehow we entered into European Union market, and we found that there was a lot of market, and we started doing that from our country into those countries. Of course, at a small scale, not understanding the dynamics of proper production, because we didn't know exactly what was needed at that time. We had some few products to export, but it kept on increasing, of course, increasing the market, but not increasing the production because part of Africa, anything can grow, but it also, you know, the market requires standards. And we found ourselves there, and it is like how you ask the movement, how do they find themselves in the state? It is how, if you tell somebody that the movement was originated from 27 guns, someone will say no, but also us. We started with 100 kilos of okra into Holland, Hague, where now the African, what you call it, ICC court is. That's the town where we started our journey, which journey has taken us now to the whole of Europe and Toronto in Canada. Of course, as you grow, many things change, but that's how we got into the market, and we're still there. We are trying to survive there. Yes.
How long has KK Foods existed?
KK Foods existed from 2004 to date, and we started our operations in 2011. So we are now 11 years old. By July, we are 11 years. Our 11th year birthday was 1st of July this year. We haven't celebrated it because we have no cause for celebration at the moment due to many factors that we'll talk about as we go along. But we are 11 years old and we are still standing.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll just take it just a little bit more about the KK Foods. What prompted you to start the business? To start exportation?
You know, there are always factors that lead you to something. Somehow I will ask you, how did you enter, how did you start this program? What prompted us is that there was market, and there was products, And then we say, let's start. We phoned the people who wanted what our Ugandans were producing. And then we said we can start. And they say, and now it's much more for us to remain there because there is more
demand.
More demand. Is only cut short by us in third world countries who do not know how to plan. But there is a lot of demand that is keeping us there. We want to be seen, to be more there, because the whole of Uganda can produce and we deliver in the same market, and will never fulfill the needs of the market. Remember, the whole European Union does not produce, mainly between September to June. They depend on other countries across the world. They never produce from September to June. Every year, they have no production. So they depend on, and they are, you can look at the population of Europe. London only is 10 million, only London 10 million population, and now calculate the whole other world. So there is huge market that we can supply, and that's why we are staying more there, because with more talking, things would change. Because when you have enough, we don't have enough projects to deliver. So we are like a drop in the ocean. But at the end of the day, when we keep on talking about this, maybe our African brothers and ourselves will wake up and make sure we are all in that market. Because that market, they have the money, we should have the produce to give them. What they don't have, we have it even.
Do you believe we have what it takes to supply?
I believe we have enough capital in this country to invest in production, in standards, to deliver what is required by Europeans.
Okay. As production manager, KK Foods, what do you have to say about produce and how much we're producing, yet the demand is so high in Uganda?
Thank you so much. I think, yes, the demand is so high for Ugandan produce. But unfortunately, we are actually not delivering as per the demand. And the challenge is related to production in terms of sustainability, because we produce only when it is raining, and when it's not raining, nobody is producing. That means there is a need for interventions with water, for irrigation, which is not happening everywhere, anywhere. I was reading somewhere, and Uganda has got a lot of water for irrigation. That is the reality that we have. But we are only having 0.5% of all the land that is under production under irrigation.
Wow.
So the land that is under production, only 0.5% is being...
Not even 1%.
Not even 1%. Because even Kenya is at 3%, Tanzania is at 2%. That now brings you to the whole picture of Africa, how we are actually not taking it seriously in terms of sustainable production. You cannot sustain production in the environment that we are in now, bearing in mind that we have got a very big climate change, and the temperatures are rising up. Even when there is water, you know that rain is not going to be there throughout the year. And these guys who want these products, they want them throughout the year. They don't want to know whether it is raining, whether it is a dry season. They want it throughout the year.
Figure it out, we'll give you the money.
Figure it out, we have the money, produce, supply us, and then we are able to give you the money. Now, what is funny with the Ugandan produce, at a particular time, the produce is in abundance. But remember, these people are looking at consistency. If you have supplied 10, if the order is 100 tons, and you have supplied 10 tons, this person who is ordering 100 tons is going to shift the 90 tons deficit to another country. And now by the time you produce the surplus that you have, when you produce a lot, and that is when the rains have come, this person has already captured orders from another country, and it is very hard now to bring back the same person to say, look, I have the 100 tons now, I want to give it to you. He will tell you, I have already ordered and made agreements with other countries, And so wait, but these are perishables. Nothing will wait. And then we don't have, we have not invested so much in value addition. So that maybe you add value and then you wait maybe or you shift to another market.
What do you mean value addition in terms of?
Now we have we discuss it in two ways. We have value addition on to the fresh products, which are perishables, that you can sell now beyond the people we are selling to, maybe to now supermarkets, ready to sell out and consume. But there is also value addition that we are talking about, like mangoes, pineapples, where you do the drying, and maybe you can keep for a longer time and be able to supply to the market when the prices are high or when the demand is actually very high. So we are not taking advantage of either of the two, simply because of investment capital. The private sector that would be doing that is constrained with the lack of cheap capital to do that, and so they are not able to do it. And at the end of the day, who is suffering? The farmer, who is supposed to produce and earn the money from us, the exporters. So it is a bit of a big challenge. We see the opportunities, but how to get to the opportunities is what is the problem.
Interesting. So since 2004, Mr. Kanyije, existence of KK Foods, I don't know why I want to say KK Advocates, but KK Foods, till now.
We are also advocates, because we are yet advocates.
For food, yes. But KK Foods, have you still struggled with the issue of you only have a certain percentage of what can be used can be sold in the market, and then other countries, for example, Hague, you talked about Hague, that they're asking for 100 tons, but you can only produce 10 tons, and so they have to continuously look for more tons from other countries. Is that something that has been consistent for all this time?
I can proudly tell you that at no any time we have ever sustained the market.
Wow.
And if I can tell you from perspective of business and company, at no time have we ever got good quality to this market. At no time have we ever supplied and they say, wow, you have the best packaging or you have the best product. The problem is our products are sweet. The packaging in this country is as bad as anything you can find. In this country, we do not have any cold chain. So our food comes from the field, and this is food. We come from the field, assorted, packed, put in a plane, which is not even refrigerated itself, into the market. In those 2-3 days, the products are already gone bad. Because we have lacked most of those. We have been stagnant like water for all those years you hear. Someone would tell you, you are making money. I guarantee you that there is money in export of food. Likely, there is 100% loss in export of food because of lack of infrastructure in this country. I can tell you that what we export, we lose up to 15% on the market shelf there. Reason is heat. Why? Because we do not have any infrastructure in this country that can protect farmers' produce up to the airport. And that has been consistent. It has been moving on since, and we have been talking. You know, Uganda is...
So why do you think they're not listening if we're still struggling with infrastructure?
I really don't know. I have no answer, because what is required is capital only. And if you want I want to compare a patient and our business. If you get in a patient as a doctor, and they test this patient, they say he requires 3 doses, and you give this patient 1 dose. When you follow him, you will go to his burial. You will find him already being buried because you have given him nothing, and that's what we are getting. What is required here, we are not getting it, because the African capital is a real problem. You don't have a flat or one. You cannot. If you have 2 flats, then you need. This is when you get. What I mean is that you must have equivalent more than 150% of what you have to give to
As security.
as a security to get money. And sometimes you don't get the money you need. And when you don't get the money you need, you die. And it's really bad, because that's why last July 30th we met the president. By the way, what I didn't say is that I am also one of the people who are on the committee that have started guiding or advising the president to increase the export and industrialization in this country. I am on that committee. On 30th July, we sat in his home in Ntungamo, and we discussed about foreign equity, foreign money. There are people with money outside there who will come in these companies and buy in equity, put in money, develop these companies, develop this chain we are talking about, and then the company starts getting enough resources, so then they pull out and they go. And I was happy that the president said, it's okay, they can come in and they are not taxed. I was happy about that one. I don't know how far it has gone. You know, in Uganda we work in reverse. You may find what he said okay, people have not said okay. We work in reverse.
But he's a president. What's okay is supposed to be okay.
Yes, but sometimes they don't. Yes, he's the president, but sometimes he cannot be everywhere. But we are not supporting him to do what is supposed to be done. But anyway, I was saying that infrastructure in this country has led this business to be a bad business. Everybody fear going into agriculture because there are losses. And what is causing the losses is because we are not deploying the capital that is required, enough capital that is required for this industry to grow. For example, the European Union global purchase of food across the world is $72 billion.
Wow.
$72 billion is a global purchase of food that they buy every single year. I mean European Union. I have not put United Kingdom, I have not put Canada, I have not put America. I'm only talking about European Union. $72 billion. This country every year, we earn between $35 to $45.
Billions,
it is a shame.
Millions,
dollars.
Million.
We don't even reach $100 million. We don't even reach 50 every year. And this country endowed with surface water that can do irrigation. What he did not tell you is that surface water in Uganda, East Africa, Uganda has 66% of surface water.
What does surface water mean?
Surface water is the water which is on top, which can be channeled to go for irrigation. Is running water.
So we already have a step. We already are.
The water God gave it is there. God gave it is there. But we cannot put it to the farmland. Secondly, 67% of our land in East Africa is in Uganda, but we are producing under capacity. Where is the reason? The point is that our people have gone into politics more and thought that maybe I really don't understand why people are kept, because everybody wants to produce. For example, I give an example, one product now before I touch another thing. We have a product called hot pepper. It is liked by everybody in the world. The best product called hot pepper can be produced is only in Uganda. Other countries are producing it, like Dominican Republic, like Rwanda started producing it, but that's KK, because KK we also formed the company in Rwanda. You go to a country like Holland, they do it in greenhouses in summer. But our Ugandan pepper was tested and found was the best in the world. But now you know what is taking us out? Because of standard. Because our scientists are not doing enough to make a research on how do we eliminate the pest. The pest, the Europeans don't want the pest in their country. Now they have even added what we call chemical residues. They don't want their chemical, they don't want their people to die of chemicals. European Union have come here down with their people on the ground slowly, tested our food on the Nakarewe, in Nakawa, in all our market. They found 80% of our food is contaminated with chemicals. Now, you tell me, yes, I hear the scientists are getting more money now.
Yes.
But where is the, we need tangibles, we need the comparisons, why are we not making research in food? Why are we dying of cancers because of bad food? Because of our production, our producers don't know. So likewise, what Europeans want is what the Ugandans want. But the market, as us as a company today, our orders stand at 300 tons every single month. But do you know what we are supplying?
No.
Between 20 to 25. Why? It isn't there because we do not have enough capital to invest where we are supposed to invest.
Do you think investors are treated, actually have more benefits than a normal Ugandan who might go to the bank or financial institutions to get a loan to start up a business?
I have started that point because last week we had a meeting with some other stakeholders.
Yes.
I am also going to petition Parliament with like Rocco did because we need them to bail us out. We are supporting Ugandans. We are doing what Ugandans. Why do we allow the market to be consumed by? Do you know that Israel supplies most of the sweet potatoes in the world? Israel. You go to the map, you go to your research, ask me how many times they receive rain in a year. They are the biggest producer of sweet potato. Why? Because of science. So what is our science doing? They are doing irrigation route. Why is Kenya earning $1.2 billion from the same market and we earn 35 to 45? And then 68% of Ugandans are engaged in subsistence farming, in agriculture. Why? See, these are the questions I will put here, but I will have also solutions. Because I cannot keep on lamenting about these problems. I must have answers. But the answers lies in somebody who has the money. And I must find that person. And as we go along, I will tell you, we as a company, what we have been engaged in. Because for me, I have refused to die poor. And I have refused to die in a group, meaning that you want to, this group, I will die with this group. No, I have refused. Because I don't want to be like President normally say that why is God not calling Chinese? Why is he calling African? Because wherever we go to a barrio, they say God has called him. No, I don't want to be that one. I know there is a lot of problems in agriculture. But if I don't talk about it and bring it up, who will bring it up? Who else? Because I have been asked on many occasions. See, we have a politician, sometimes we are sitting with them in the meetings and they ask James, why did you go into a wrong profession? A wrong profession, a wrong sector. If not me, who else? Because I've been asked on many occasions, because we are never supported. And they ask, but if you talk to the government, they don't support, why don't you leave? Why don't you go and become an auditor? I said, my call is not to be an auditor, my call is to do this business. And I will talk about it, and it will happen. By the way, it should not worry Ugandans, because when you check about South Korea, before it became a first world, it was like Uganda.
Yes.
And one day, one dictator man, you can go and read about that general. He decided to say enough is enough. He called the people, he said, we went to, did you support me? He said, no. You support me? No. Those who did not support him, they were shot. And they were shot dead. And those who accepted that let's do this, they did it. Suddenly, after 17 years, he was assassinated. But South Korea had already become a first world country. If I have to die, if I have to lose everything I have because of fighting for this market, the Europeans are sitting there every day, they disturb us. James, we know you are a big company, why are you not supplying us? But when you are one-eyed man in brand, you become
blind, almost blind as well.
You become the same. So that's what I'm saying. We have tried to work with the poor farmers across Uganda. We are in 45 districts. We are also getting poorer because the quality of products we are shipping is bad. We are trying to put up a cold chain. We are not finishing it, but I'm getting answers. Yes.
Wow, thank you. Mr. Atkwasa,
yes.
Quality of products.
Yes, we have different parameters that are considered when we are exporting these products. And
standards.
Yeah, standards, of course, they are all more or less the same.
Yes.
So, of course, when you talk about standards, you are talking about quality. When you talk about quality, you are talking about standards. Yes. We have both customer requirements, because we serve both. We serve the customer requirements and also we serve the regulatory requirements. And that is to do with governments. Now, that is Uganda government versus European Union government or United Kingdom's government. And they have put regulations which we have to follow and fulfill. We also have customer requirements, but the regulatory requirements are first. And currently with exports of fresh fruits and vegetables, there are two issues. One issue is of pests, and the other issue is of chemical residues, just like he said. So we are in between. For you to be able to fight the pests, you use the chemicals. And they don't want both.
Okay.
So we are, as technical people, we are trying to help out farmers to ensure that they fight these pests using the recommended chemicals, but also at recommended rates. And when these farmers follow, fortunately, when they follow, we don't get issues of interceptions due to chemical residues. But when they don't follow, sometimes you get issues of pests, and also you get issues of chemical residues. And when interceptions occur, the name of the country is affected.
Like a few months
because
ago, Kenya and aflatoxins in the maize and all.
Yes, and we are getting the same problems are here. And whenever there is an interception due to those issues, the company loses, then the country. By the way, European Union does not know KK Foods, does
Uganda.
not know, it knows Uganda. If they intercept a product of KK Foods, they write to the government of Uganda, the MAIF, NPPO, and now it becomes an issue. So the quality actually does not come at the end. The quality starts at production level. So whatever we are doing as technical people, we try as much as possible to train these farmers to ensure that they produce as per the standards. But at the end of the day, there are also processes after production, post-harvest management. And now that is beyond a farmer. And that is now in the hands of a private company that is doing exports, together with government. Because exporters are working with government to ensure that the requirements in the market are met. And that's why we have a group of inspectors. We have a team of inspectors from government that work with us to ensure that whatever is exported actually meets the requirements and the standards at the European Union and also other countries. But I can tell you, most of these inspections are eye inspections. You know, observing. You observe and make conclusions. But European Union, United Kingdom and other countries that are interested in ensuring that whatever gets into their countries is actually good, they are not using people to open and check with eyes. They are using machines.
Science, technology.
Technology.
Yes.
So you cannot go, if there is a problem, you cannot go beyond the border points. And that's where we get the issues. And we have been advocating for government to ensure that they bring some of those technologies here so that we are not losing at the end.
After you've spent the transport,
yes,
after you spend...
Yes, so when interception happens, of course you are supposed, you pay. They send us invoices to pay for destruction. You have already paid the airline. You have already, you have to pay the farmers. And it becomes a big issue. But we, as a company and also as a team, he must tell you that now, as Fresh Fruits and Vegetables, under the umbrella of Hot Fresh, I have seen now improvements being made to ensure that the sector is actually put right. But it is still a long journey to go, and we think we will still get there and make this sector great.
Okay. We talked about, I think we haven't really touched the issue of infrastructure. I was reading a document that said we actually spend so much money. First of all, we're a landlocked country. But we spend so much money when it comes to transportation of these products. We don't even have a railway station that sort of connects to even the East African countries. Kenya or Tanzania, well, they've talked about the idea and told us that that is underway. But I'm thinking, anyways, please, any remarks on that?
I wanted to, in terms of transport, I really wanted to talk about the airline.
Yes.
We the 60% of our total expenses is air transport. And these airlines are foreign airlines. When this money comes from Europe,
Goes back to Europe.
it goes back to Europe.
Oh, wow.
So the same money should be remaining here. Let's fetch it from there, let it remain here. And then that takes us to
Uganda
the
Airlines?
air cargo.
Okay.
We need a cargo plane. I
You
thought
don't
maybe
have one in Uganda Airlines?
no, with Uganda Airlines we are using passenger, and of course the capacity is low, is small compared to what we should be lifting out there. So there is a need for us to look into that. He's on the committee advising the president, and I am sure they have talked about it, but there is a need for it to be accelerated. At least, because if we are at 60% giving this money to foreign airlines, if it is a Ugandan airline, we assume we might go down to maybe 50%. But still the money remains in this country. And then it boosts the economy. So it will help the Ugandan there are times when we are unable even to ship out because there is no space.
Wow.
And that is that is now a farmer losing, that is the company losing, and it's a big problem.
Mr. Kanishi.
I was listening to him and he was getting it right. Of course, the obstacle of our trade, of course, we cannot send by truck, by train to London. We are failing to send by train to Kenya, and we can send it by train. So we have to use the airline. And now the airline is, as he said, sometimes is between 60 to 65%. If you hear 60, 65%, you send goods and they are destroyed. What do you think? That means you are in minus. And many companies in Uganda doing export are getting minus profits every year. Reason is that they are losing their products on the market. But coming back to what he said, yes, I am on the committee that advising president on this. We talked about it with the president when we met in March, and the president promised that he's going to finance air cargo to bring in a charter, a plane with Uganda Air Cargo to start taking our goods into Middle East, into Europe and wherever. Because if Uganda has an airline, we will bring down the cost, and the Ugandan exporters will increase the total export.
Yes.
You will find that every single, like Kenya, I didn't tell you, Kenya, they export every single day 1,000 tons of cargo. Here we export maybe 10 tons, but we don't compare. I am not comparing this because we are not comparable. And I'm trying to say that when you are in Kenya, every single hour, there is a plane taking off. But when you are in Entebbe, you are booked, for example, in British Airways or in Kenya Airways or in Turkish, and this plane is full, does not take your cargo. You will throw this cargo into dustbin. That's a loss.
Way.
People don't know what we go through. But sometimes we have discussed at a different level, but we think people listen, but they don't listen. So I urge you, and I urge the government, I am sure the president sometimes sees this program, he needs to talk to the people who have been in this industry and see what is the problem, and he can solve it. Because farmers are produce. They are supposed to sell. The exporter calls him, the plane tells you, this guy has harvested his goods in Mbarara or in Rukunjiri or in Wema, and then you call him that to finish space. We didn't get space, so we are not shipping. What is supposed to do? Oh, we have the cargo here in Kampala. First of all, we don't have cold chain. We cannot keep it. It has to go. And then they tell you, sorry, James, the plane didn't come, or it has come, but it is full. We'll take it on Friday. And today is Monday. You have to throw it in dustbin. First of all, you can't keep it. It is not cold controlled.
It's perishable.
It's perishable. We have to kill it. In Kenya, you can keep the goods for the next 7 days. The plane will come, they will go, because it is in the correct system of food industry. which does not exist here. So for me, I think with combined efforts, we'll have to reduce the 65% of cost in freight into European Union to maybe 30% if we use our own airline and the money remains here. Now all the money goes back where it comes from. What is the use? Sometimes I reach the point I said, who gives you, they say, according to the Bible, who gives life is God. Who gives what you have is God. So if God has decided to take it, you have to accept him. Because for us in Amanyankweli we have a saying that mukamu umulinga kaija ogumuhereza. Umulinga is a chikomo.
Okay.
So if the owner comes, you give it back to him. If God comes, because we are saying maybe whatever he comes and said, James, yes, you have struggled to do all this, but I'm taking all this. I say, God, thank you, but I still have life. Because we have tried to make people understand, the government understand that, look here, we can employ over 10, 15 million people in this industry. Even a small worksheet can show what people can be employed in this industry. But you don't see anybody coming to invest there. They have not even put what we call, for example, I may say, to say, this is, let's invest in this company, do this, and see, is this going to be an example so that we can say, hey, is it viable? They are not putting alternatives. And for us, we know, and the market is free. That's what is important. The market is free, European Union market is free, and you are allowed to take even up to 1,000 tons if you have it every day. But we can't do it because we don't have the means. And we have been struggling in the last 11 years, and we are getting the means. And the means we are going to get, of course, the government should not say, after all, KK is going to get their own means, we should not support them. We need support of government to make sure, because these people we work with, the farmers, are the voters of the government, are not the voters. Me, I don't stand for any election, and I will never stand for any office. They are the ones, the MPs, the ministers, all those, they are the ones who require their people to have an income. They need to support us to make sure their people are earning. As I finish this point you said, we had a meeting 2 days ago at Africana with the Minister of Agriculture and Export Promotion Board. The commissioner told us that this year alone, the industry, the Minister of Agriculture, and quote me because what I say is the truth. She told us that they have licensed 80 companies since this year began. Previously, they had 200 companies also exporting. Now, this year, they licensed 80. So
280.
She told us, as of last week, only 15 were active. Is that heresy?
No.
Don't you think the government should wake up and say, what is the problem? Because what we talk about, the messengers, God used to send the messengers like Gabriel, he used to send Moses, go to get my people out of Egypt. And God would say, please go and tell the king, this is what is supposed. Then the king would say, no, this is not. For us, we are the messengers. I never kill messengers. And even all those who were not killed, they were laid down. But seems we are seen. Why should we have the market and we cannot supply it? For us, what we are saying, we want the government to avail. Let them give guarantees, either to banks or to the investors, guarantees, so that the government gives us guarantees. We get enough. When I talk about enough capital, I mean enough capital to invest in a system. Because I will not tell government to invest in the system, because government may not manage. Who will run it? We have to run it. The government cannot run a cold chain, cannot run a fleet of trade. They can handle air cargo. They can handle that one, is not our field. But this field where we are, let them support us. We don't want free money. If we are doing good business, we will money be paid. A patient money. 15, 20 years. And with good rates and proper, without telling us to bring security, because we don't have facilities for securities. The system we're building is for the country, because the farmers are not supplying, are not earning for me. They are earning to support, to make sure that our GDP increases. When we bring this money from Europe, it's for our GDP. It's to stabilize our currency. Why should we be the one to give 120% guarantee of the money they want to give us. No, we need the government to wake up and say, let's support, because we can export. As I was telling you, we have orders of 300 tons every single month as a single company. You have heard there are 280 companies in Uganda.
15 in operation.
If we are supported, would any Ugandan be unemployed?
No.
The point is, maybe people are not reading at the same chapter. We are not reading at the same page. Because for us, we are there. We go to Europe, we look for a market. No government has ever paid my ticket to go and look for a market. No government has ever given me a diplomatic visa that I go to Toronto, Canada to look for market. I have gone there because I had the passion and I know this is what I can do. And I have found that there is, even there are places where they say, hey, you are not seen. We need this product, but they are not seen.
Wow.
We see it once in 6 months. But at the end of the day, you come back and you ask, where is the problem? The bottlenecks are lying to do with capital investment. There is no capital to invest, and somebody wants to give money, he wants to give you little money, and the little money to give you has a lot of attachments. And as I said, for us, yes, we can manage. If government of Uganda can guarantee us and give us cheap money, and we invest in correct, you see, we may be losing. Someone say, James, you are making money. There is no money we are making. I tell you on TV here, there is no money we are making because we are making losses. Reason is we do not have infrastructure in place to support the export. It is not there. These people talking that they want to create bigger commercial farmers. You will create big commercial farmers, where will you put the produce? You need to have infrastructure in place first. You cannot read the Bible, which is not there. The Bible has to be there for you to read it. So for me, the expertise I have in the last 21 years in this industry, if you invested $100 million, you will get $2 billion. But if you don't invest anything, you will get minus. And that's what we have been making. Anyone who is seeing us should not think that KK is making a lot of money, because you are working in an environment which is really totally bad, which must change. Because there are products we have stopped producing because we cannot do without cold chain. And cold chain requires a lot of money. And these are products which could be, all our farmers could engage, like products like okra, French beans. Kenya is making billions of Kenyan money in French beans.
Hot pepper.
Hot pepper in Kenya, they can't grow it. They are failed. They cannot be grown here. I'm even trying to make an MOU with a big company in Kenya to produce for them, for their market in Europe, which I should be doing it myself to deliver to the same. But if they bring me the infrastructure I want, we sign an MOU, I work with them, because at the end of the day, I want to see how do I survive. We should not think about survival, because the market has big money. There is a big profit in agriculture, but now we cannot do it because the product we are talking about, we cannot even bargain. You can bargain if you have something. We have nothing. For example, now today, there is no any product to export. No wonder the 200 and something companies are not working, because there is no product due to weather. It is not there. You can only get matoke, get apple, bananas, sweet potato. They are also now, they have increased in cost because it is not there. The other day I got an order to send 4 containers of sweet potato into Senegal. But I cannot even have 10 tons. How can I sign that contract? To Senegal here in Africa.
Time is not on our side. Any last remarks?
My last remarks are, of course, encouraging Ugandans to not to fear about production. I have heard people saying agriculture is very risky, like they were asking him. But I want to encourage Ugandans to focus and look for opportunities for agriculture, but also to ensure that whatever product they would want to produce, the market research is done before they do. I have seen very many farmers struggle with the market for products that the market is actually very low. And if they had done research before going into production, they would be doing crop products that have got market. Like we at KK Foods, we have market for various crop products. If very many farmers reach out to us, like we have already very many farmers working with us, then the market is too open for every Ugandan. So I encourage every Ugandan to stick to production for the better of this country. This country is for agriculture, and everything in this country will grow, will shine because of agriculture.
Mr. James Kanyije, in 1 minute.
At least 2 minutes. Anyway, I've started. I wanted to tell Ugandans that KK Foods, we have now, we are in talks, and we have fundraised with one investor to come and invest with us. And also we are talking to the second one. Before end of this month, we will have an investor to invest with us to make sure we complete our cold chain. I wanted the people to understand that, yes, we are getting solutions for you. We are also talking, we will be talking in the coming weeks that we want what we call mass production of hot pepper, because we also got big clients who will be taking a finished product that will not require those interceptions in Europe. We got what he was talking about, value addition. We have got off-taker who will be taking tons and tons of hot pepper. We are going to go mass production. Of course, we will talk to PDM people, the parish model, if they can. But I must tell Ugandan that yes, everything is at crossroads now. But I'm happy to announce that in the coming months, by end of this month, our investor will be in the country. Our investor will have started investing with us, so that we can put in place the collection centers, the cold chain, and also we expand our value addition line for export into European Union of hot pepper crop. I salute all Ugandans on production, but I remind the government to talk to us, look for us. We are not insects, we are around. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. James, Dr. James Kanyije from KK Foods, and Mr. Nicholas Atkwasa, production manager at KK Foods. I'm still thinking about the 80% of chemical residue on the products around the market, and I'm thinking, my goodness.
The European Union representative told us there on the meeting.
Wow. Well, that's all we had for you today. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you've learned 1 or 2 things. And please don't hesitate, like you've been advised, agriculture is for Uganda. Well, we also pray that the government and technocrats and experts are watching, so that this changes, at least as of today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sharon Chomdisha. Have a lovely day. God bless.